Hello students, today I am going to explain the various definitions of pharmacological actions or drugs with example as per given in your BMS second year syllabus of Dravya Vigyan of CCIM. So first we will explain the term anesthetics. In this it is important to know what is the basic difference between local anesthetics and the general anesthetics. Local anesthetics are the drugs which upon topical application or local injection causes reversible loss of sensory perception, especially of pain in a restricted area of body. Examples are bupivacaine and lidocaine. While in general anesthesia, please pay attention to the words, they are very important. General anesthetics are the drugs which produce reversible loss of all the sensations and consciousness. That is, the patient become unconscious, and the anesthetic drug also cause sleep, amenorrhea, that means patient cannot speak, immobility, cannot move, muscle relaxation, abolition of all the autonomic and somatic reflexes like sneezing, etc. Examples of general anesthetic drugs are halothane, isoflurane, nitrous oxide, which are given as inhalation, while ketamine and propofol given as injectables. Now, what do you mean by CNS depressants? So, there are three definitions in CNS depressants. The first one is sedatives. Sedatives are the drugs which reduce excitement. They calm the patient or the subject without producing sleep. Please mind the words, they do not produce sleep. They only calm down the patient, although drowsiness can be produced. These are also known as anxiolytics. Example are benzodiazepine, alprazolam and lorazepam. While we go for the definition of hypnotics, these are the drugs which actually induce or maintain sleep, which is similar to normal arousable sleep. Please mind the word normal arousable sleep. That means when you will arouse the patient, he will become awake, he is not unconscious. So, sedatives and hypnotics both are CNS depressants. The examples of the drug will be the same, only there will be a differing time action and dose action relationship. Now, if we go for the term tranquilizers, it is an old term meaning a drug which reduces mental tension and produce calmness without inducing sleep or depressing the mental faculties. This is almost same as the word sedatives. Now, what do you mean by antipyretics? As you know, pyrexia means fever. So, the drugs which reduce the body temperature in fever. Please note that reduce the body temperature in fever and make it normal, but do not cause hypothermia in the normothermic individuals. They do not cause any type of hypothermia in a person who is having a normal temperature. The example of the drug are paracetamol, acetyl salicylic acid, that is aspirin. Then the next term is analgesics. As you know, analgesia means pain. So analgesics are the drugs which relieve pain without causing loss of consciousness. Here you must note that anesthetics, mainly the general anesthesia, they cause the loss of consciousness, but analgesics, they only relieve pain without causing any loss of consciousness. Examples are acetyl salicylic acid, which is aspirin, ibuprofen and morphine, which is an opioid derivative. Now, antiepileptics. Antiepileptics are the drugs which are useful in the treatment of epilepsy. Epilepsy, as you know, is a disease having chronic seizures and convulsions. So, the drugs which are used in the treatment of epilepsy are carbamazepine, diazepam, lorazepam, which are sedatives, phenobarbital, phenytoin and valproic acid. Now, if we go for the next term, that is antihypertensive drugs. Here, these are also the drugs which are used to lower blood pressure in hypertension. Note that these are the drugs which lower blood pressure in hypertension. The examples are amlodipine, enalapril, hydralazine, losartan, and the latest one is telmisartan. Now anti-anginal drugs. These are the drugs which prevent, abort or terminate the attacks of angina pectoris. Now here we must know what is angina pectoris. So angina pectoris is a pain syndrome which occurs due to an adverse oxygen supply demand situation. That means the oxygen supply is less while the demand of the myocardium is more. So if there is a adverse oxygen supply demand situation in a portion of the myocardium, that is the muscle of heart, then angina pectoris occurs, and the drugs which either prevent or abort in between or terminate the attacks of angina pectoris are called as anti-anginal drugs. The examples are isosorbate dinitrate, which is also given sublingually, bisoprolol and glyceryl nitrate. Now antiplatelet drugs. These are the drugs which interfere with the platelet function and are useful in the prophylaxis of thromboembolic disorders. So these are given in the person who are prone to some thromboembolic disorders. Example again, acetyl salicylic acid, which is aspirin. So aspirin in a high dose is an analgesic, while in a low dose like 75 to 150 mg it is an antiplatelet drug, and the another drug is clopidogrel. Hypolipidemic drugs. These are the drugs which lower the levels of lipids and lipoproteins in blood. They are used in the hyperlipidemic or hypercholesteremic conditions. Example of the drug are simvastatin, atorvastatin, cholestyramine, clofebrate. Now hemopoietics. You all know the process of hemopoiesis, that is the formation of bloods, mainly the hemoglobin. So hemopoietics are the drugs or the agents which are required in the formation of blood and are used for the treatment of anemias. Example of the drugs are ferrous salts like ferrous sulfate, ferrous fumarate, ferrous gluconate, vitamin B12, folic acid and vitamin C. Then coagulants. Coagulants are the substances which promote coagulation and are indicated in hemorrhagic states like epistaxis, etc. The drugs used are ethamsilate, rutin, etc. Bronchodilators. So these are the agents which are used to relax the smooth muscles of bronchioles. They should only be used when there is bronchoconstriction, and they should not be used routinely. Example are salbutamol, theophylline, aminophylline, montelukast, etc. And in some cases beclomethasone, which is a corticosteroid, is also used. Now what do you mean by aerosols or inhalants? So aerosols, sol means solution and air means in air. Generally solution are made like liquid in solid, but aerosol means it is a colloid system in which solid or liquid particles are suspended in a gas. Especially a suspension of a drug or other substance which is to be dispensed in a fine spray or mist. Means we want to use the drug in the form of a spray, then the drug particles of solid and liquid are suspended in that particular air or gas. Example, budesonide, salbutamol. These are the spray which are used in the treatment of asthma. Expectorants. These are the drugs which helps in removing the mucus from the airway. So how do they act is they increase the bronchial secretion or reduce the viscosity of the mucus and facilitate its removal by coughing. Guaifenesin, potassium iodide, bromohexane, these are some examples of expectorants. Digestants. These are the substances which are intended to promote digestion of food. A number of enzyme combination are available in market which are used as appetite stimulant. For example, pepsin, pancreatin. There are some combination, but most of them are banned now. Carminatives. Carminatives are the drugs which promote the expulsion of gases from the GIT. They remove the gas from the GIT and give a feeling of warmth and comfort in the epigastrium. Example are the normal eating soda, that is sodium bicarbonate, tincture of ginger, peppermint oil and the oil of dill. They all helps in the expulsion of gases. Then the term is antacids. So antacids are the basic substances which neutralize the gastric acid and raise the pH of the gastric content. That means they will neutralize the HCl and they are generally alkaline substances. For example, sodium bicarbonate, aluminum hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide. Now anti-ulcer drugs. If acidity is not controlled, then it may cause peptic or duodenal ulcer. So anti-ulcer drugs are those which are effective in the treatment of peptic ulcer. These drugs either reduce or neutralize gastric acid or will increase the mucosal resistance to acid pepsin attack and protects and heals the ulcer surface, or they can be anti-H. pylori bacteria. Now here it is very important to understand that some of them are antacid, that is they neutralize the gastric acid. Some will reduce the production of gastric acid, while some will protect the mucus layer of the gastrium, while if the ulcer is already occurred, then some will try to heal the ulcer surface. And one more important thing here is that there is an H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori bacteria, which causes gastric ulcers. So there will be some drugs, antibiotics, which will attack this bacteria and will act as antibacterial towards it. So the examples of the anti-ulcer drug will be ranitidine, omeprazole, which is a proton pump inhibitor, sucralfate, which is a ulcer protective and ulcer healing drug, and antibiotics in case of infection of H. pylori. Now anti-inflammatory drugs. These are the agents which are useful in the treatment of any type of inflammatory condition. For example, Brufen, and in severe cases of inflammation, corticosteroids are also used as anti-inflammatory drugs. Now laxatives. Laxatives are the drugs that promote the evacuation of bowels. They are generally useful in constipation or in some conditions like post-surgery conditions or in bedridden patients. Examples of laxatives are Isabgol, which is a bulk forming laxative, then docusades, phenolphthalein, bisacodyl, castor oil, which are stimulant purgatives, and magnesium sulfate, which is an osmotic purgative. Antidiarrheals. Now in diarrhea, the line of management will be first you have to maintain the hydration. For that, ORS powder or IV fluid should be used depending on the level of dehydration. Secondly, one should maintain the nutrition, and third comes the drug therapy if needed. So antidiarrheals are the agents which are useful in the management of diarrhea. Example is ORS powder. Then the drugs used are zinc sulfate, loperamide, which is an anti-motility, anti-secretory drug, codeine, sulfasalazine, and if there is infective diarrhea, then some antimicrobials needs to be used. Now diuretics. Diuretics are the drugs which cause a net loss of sodium, ion and water in urine. These are generally used in the cases of renal stones and in some other cases where the body volume, the blood volume needs to be controlled. For example, in some heart failure cases or ascites cases, diuretics needs to be used. In even some cerebrovascular diseases also diuretic needs to be used. So they reduce the volume and causes a net loss of sodium and water in urine. Example are hydrochlorothiazides, furosemide and spironolactone. Next is the antidiuretic. Antidiuretic is generally it is used in diabetes insipidus, in which there is uncontrolled volume of urine is there. So these are the drugs that reduce the urine volume, particularly in diabetes insipidus. Example is vasopressin. As you all know, it is also known as antidiuretic hormone. Its various form like desmopressin are available in market, which are given as intranasal route also. And another drug which is used as antidiuretic is endomethacin. Lithotriptic. As you know, the term litho means stone and triptych means to break. So these are the drugs which break down the calculi, either renal or ureteric. Only few agents are available: L-ornithine L-asparate, also dioxolic acid. Then anti-obesity drugs, which are also known as anorectic drugs. These are the agents which help the obese patient to tolerate a reducing diet for a short period. Please note the definition, and these anorectic drugs should only be used in severe obesity and not for cosmetic reasons. And the drugs available are bensphetamine, diethylpropion, mazindol and phenytolamine. Anti-thyroid drugs, these are generally used in the cases of hyperthyroidism. They are generally the synthesis inhibitors. They has also been applied to all thyroid inhibitors. Example are propyl thiouracil, carbimazole, methimazole. These are the drugs used in the treatment of hyperthyroidism. Oxytoxics. These are the drugs which increase the uterine motility and contraction, especially at term. Example are oxytocin, desamino-oxytocin. These are generally used to induce labor or to assist in labor in selected cases. Contraceptives. These are the preparations, generally hormonal preparations, which are used for the reversible, the term should be noted, for reversible suppression of fertility. Once the contraceptives are stopped, after 3 months or so, the fertility can be regained. Styptics. These are the substances which are used to stop bleeding from a local and approachable site. They are generally used to control bleeding in wounds and oozing surfaces. Example are gelatin foam, thrombin, fibrin and some astringents are also used to stop bleeding. Antihistaminics. Histamines are the substance secreted by our mast cells, and they have a wide role in disease causing as well as some physiological roles. And the antihistaminics drugs, they generally antagonize the action of histamine. They are used in allergies, cold and cough. Example are cetirizine, levocetirizine, loratadine, etc. Antimicrobial drugs. These are the agents which are designed to inhibit or kill the infective organism and have no or just minimal effect on the recipient cells. So antimicrobials are the drugs which kill the organisms which are infecting the human beings without having less effect on the recipients. The example are all the antibiotics, antifungals, antiprotozoals and antiviral drugs come under this category. Now what are antibiotics? So these are the substances which are produced by microorganisms which selectively suppress or kill other microorganisms at very low concentration. Examples are penicillin, cephalosporins, tetracycline and gentamicin. So the difference between antimicrobial and antibiotic, antibiotics are a category of antimicrobials which are derived by living organisms. Now antimalarial drugs. Antimalarial drugs are the drugs which are used for prophylaxis, that is prevention, treatment and prevention of relapse, that is reoccurring of malaria. Example chloroquine, mefloquine and quinine. Amoebicidal drugs are those drugs which are used in the treatment of amoebiasis, which is generally caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Example of the drugs are metronidazole, tinidazole, emmetine. Antifilarial drug. These are the drugs which are used for the cure and prevention of filariasis, which is also known as elephantiasis. Example are diethyl carbamazine and ivermectin. Anthelmintic drugs. These are the agents which will either kill or expel the infestic helminths out of the body. Either they will kill or they will remove the worms from the intestine. Example are mebendazole and albendazole. Antifungal drugs are the drugs which are used either for the superficial or deep fungal infections. Example are nystatins, grisofulvin, fluconazole and cotrimazole. So the antifungal drugs are used as locally as well as orally also, and various preparations are available. Vitamins. As we all know, vitamins are generally the non-energy producing organic compounds which are supplied to our body by food, but there are some times when there are some deficiency diseases of vitamins. So the importance of vitamins as drug is in the prevention or the treatment of deficiency diseases. For example, vitamin C is used in the treatment of scurvy, D in the treatment of rickets, B12 in pernicious anemia, so on. Whenever there will be vitamin deficiency, vitamin has to be given as a drug, and also sometimes for the prevention of vitamin deficiency also. Minerals, like vitamins, minerals are also required for our metabolism, and they are supplied in small quantities in food, and their importance as drug is primarily in prevention and treatment of deficiency diseases. For example, iron is given in anemia, calcium is prescribed in osteoporosis. Next is vaccines. Vaccines are suspensions of dead microorganism or attenuated live microorganism which stimulate the immune system of the recipient to produce antibodies of that particular against that particular organism. Here it should be noted that these dead microorganism or the attenuated live microorganism are not capable to produce disease, but they are capable to produce a immune reaction, that is production of antibody in the recipient's body. So these are generally employed for prophylaxis, that is prevention. Examples are BCG vaccine, DPT vaccines. Then come the antivenoms. Antivenoms are available as purified, enzyme refined and concentrated globulins in vials with distilled water ampules. These antivenoms are generally used in the treatment of snake bite as well as some scorpion bite. Antivenoms are also available nowadays. Anti-rabies serum. Now mind it that this is a serum. So it is refined, concentrated and lipolysed serum which is derived from horses which were already hyperimmunized by repeated injections of fixed rabies virus. That is, rabies virus are injected in, again attenuated, they will not cause rabies in horses, but they will generate a immune response in the blood of horses. So that serum is derived from the horses. It is refined, concentrated, and then it is used in the treatment of the suspected rabies case or the suspected exposure after the dog bite. Now local antiseptics. These are the agents which inhibits or kills microbes on contact, that is on local application. They are generally oxidizing agents, hydrogen peroxide, iodides, chlorhexidine. Then the drugs which are used in ophthalmic practice are generally administered topically, for example eye drops or eye ointments. Then anti-cancer drugs, these are the drugs which either kill cancer cells or modify their growth, and they are used in chemotherapy. There are few examples like cyclophosphamide, vincristine, which is a drug derived from a plant which is called as evening primrose, or the Sadabahar plant. Immunomodulators. These are the variety of agents which are used to enhance or modify immunological and non-specific host defense. Example: thalidomide, interferons. These are the examples of immunomodulators. So these were the various definitions, and I have taken references from the textbooks of pharmacology written by Dr. K.D. Tripathi and Dr. Satoshkar and Bhandarkar, and also from the WHO list of the essential drug list, latest list, which was published in March 2019. And I hope you could understand the definitions. Thank you very much.